Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got to pull Rocky Menero out there.
It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Oh, this hard goddamn work being this good.
One more again, see what I take on your front set, I swear.
You ain't my daddy, are you?
There's gonna be consequences and repercussions.
What time is it? Game time.
Okay, welcome again to the Don't Be Blasé podcast. We come to you live from the House of Pain, otherwise known as Snap Fitness, the Adelaide CBD. I'm your host, B. Caruana, joined this week by the very handsome, the very lovely, our executive producer, Big J.
You know that's a step up from last time.
Yeah?
Like I was associate producer last time.
Oh, no, because you've brought more goods to the table.
I have. Yeah, the more I bring, the more I'm liked.
Yeah, that's right. You're going to be junior vice president, no time.
Me and the young bucks.
Yeah.
I will like to say that, I know your spiel, but I want to let you know I now have a sponsor.
Yes.
And I'd like to give a shout out to Crackle and Pop Records.
There you go.
South Australia's best vinyl suppliers, and they'll pop up anywhere. Great selection. After you speak.
Very good. Well, before we get into that one, we're going to go refer to our boys at Larry and Lad. Go to the boys at Richard Arcade. Get yourself an awesome coffee. Listen to some pretty sweet tunes. But for now, on with the show. Now, I'm glad you brought that up, the Crackle and Pop Records.
Yeah.
This is just going to go straight up. We've thrown the schedule out already.
No, I don't want it.
I got a record player for Christmas.
Yeah, me too.
I was so... With the little suitcase ones?
Yeah.
I think they're on sale at Audi.
Oh, I know they are. The sticker was left on it.
Oh, beautiful. But I started going there, and at Larry and Lad, he has a collection of old 45s.
Do you know Crackle and Pop do pop-ups at Larry and Lad?
They certainly do. That's why I thought
Yeah.
put them in together. But the funny thing was, I started going through it, and Jeremy that runs there, he's got a bit of a shoe collection. He knows I don't mind my sneakers either. He goes, "Did you get a record player?" I went, "Yeah." He goes, "Fuck, they're worse than shoes, mate. You're in trouble now." Because everywhere I go, I'm flicking through crates.
Yeah. I was on eBay.
Yeah.
My thing is comedy vinyl.
Yes. Have you got? See, I want to get the old Bill Cosby.
They're cheap on eBay.
Yeah, I know, but I still get. I still got the Cosby shows. Can't watch them.
Yeah,
but
I know.
The one with about his brother, like the one to my brother, I can't remember his name, who I shared a bed with. That's like I've heard that before. I've heard it like on CD, but I wanted to get that on record too. The
one I'm trying to chase is Richard Pryor Live on the Sunset Strip.
I've got that on DVD. That is one of the most outstanding stand-up collections.
I had it on vinyl when I was 12 or 13. Why I was listening to that 12 or 13?
Yeah,
explains a lot now.
Yeah.
But it got sold.
Oh.
My mum gave it away because it was inappropriate, and now I'm desperate to get it back.
The thing I love about that is that one is you can just trace origins.
Oh yeah.
You listen to that one and you just go, "Fuck, Eddie Murphy just ripped." Like, you know, he always says like, "Oh yeah, Richard Pryor was my idol."
Slightly influenced.
Fucking G. But the thing is that you can see you can see where Eddie ripped off Richard Pryor, and then you can see where Chris Rock ripped off both of them. Like, if you watch them all back to back, you're kind of like, this is the same act. You guys are just all doing Richard Pryor.
And I don't know if that's an evolution forward or backwards. Like, I don't know who the ultimate form of that is.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but it's so bizarre to see, like, even his mannerisms, the way he moves, this and that, and the way he tells the stories. And especially if you see it visually too, it's just like spot on. He's
that Gene Wilder story about going into prison, Gene Wilder not understanding that men might have sex with other men.
Oh yeah,
and the pure innocence. I was like, so he was just Willy Wonka? Like I don't understand. No, I enjoy that quite a bit.
But now that's the thing. I've decided I'm going to save my first. I haven't bought any records yet. I've just been looking because I've thought, just as a real wanky ceremonial thing, which vinyl will be the first one to buy. Like, I'm going to buy like a brand new one, not a second-hand one, if I get a good one. Because I know the actual vinyls these days are expensive. Yeah. And I thought, what would be perfect and would sound just... you need something that has that thing that would get that appeal with the crackle and that sort of stuff. Yeah. So I want to know if you give me a thumbs up or thumbs down.
All right, go.
I'm going for Enter 36 Chambers Wu-Tang. That's going to be my first album.
No, absolutely.
I think that's...
No, that's... Yeah.
100%
I was listening to the last Childish Gambino album on there.
Yeah.
And Redbone sounds perfect.
Oh, it would. Yeah.
Like you said, the crackle is built into it anyway.
Yeah.
No, that's a great call.
Well done. Thank you. So you would go with something similar?
Yeah, I would. And I would probably... I've got a lot of old hand-me-down ones. Yeah. So any Beatles, anything like that.
So we're just saying, we're both confirming that neither of us and no one in their right mind would go Bone Thugs.
I feel like, Steve, even when you're here, I feel like it's but not here. It feels like an ambush, and I didn't... No, I'm not a Bone Thugs fan, but that's only because I haven't listened to it.
Oh, it's because there's good reason for it, because it's no good. But anyway, before we just go bashing Steve while he's not here to defend himself, Steve is away this week. He'll be back next week. Steve's sort of recovering from his absolute beatdown on regards to the lawn, because I have received the photos from Rocco. Rocco, mate, that is... Oh, even got Jay a bit flustered. It may be 45 degrees today, but
Yeah.
more than
There's
just...
a lot of factors.
Yeah, there's more than just the weather that's getting us hot and cold, and it's the grass. But we're going to speak about a wrestling a little bit today, because Big J's not an executive producer, but he's not the grumpy old man that Steve is in regards to wrestling.
I'm going to say this to Steve now. Steve, it always feels like I get thrown on here to bash your tastes. But if you want any segment, any musical stings or anything you need to attack this big man, you just drop me a line. Because I only talk to Speed about what's required for the show. But Steve, the offer's always there if you need something, you let me know. If
you need something to attack Steve, you can definitely let him know. But, I'll always throw it back in your face anyway.
Or just not put it in the recording.
Exactly.
That's right.
But the key is, I do want to talk about some stuff that's happening recently. And Steve just turns up his nose every time we speak about anything that happened post, 1999. So I want to talk about the big news about the new wrestling company.
Yeah.
All Elite Wrestling.
Yeah.
Give me your thoughts. Give me your ideas. Give me some takes maybe you got from Andy. He's the man in the know.
Yeah, our friend Andy.
Friend? Strong word. Acquaintance.
But a friend of yours longer than mine.
Oh, a colleague of yours.
he just pays my wages, that's fine. No, I like the idea of AEW. I like having another big idea in wrestling. Things like win and loss counts.
Yes.
Things like that to me is interesting.
It matters.
Because I don't think people will understand it.
No.
Because it's been so long since anyone's cared with up and down booking of WWE. And now that Impact is actually putting on fairly decent shows, which fairly decent for them is generous.
The problem is that they suffer from they've got the production, they've got the talent.
They don't have the venues.
They don't have the venues, and they don't look full either. Like one of the biggest things that can make or break a wrestling show is the crowd.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just, if you have a full house full of like rabid fans, that's when like a lot of the people have romanticized those old ECW matches and old shows and stuff like that. The matches for the most part were fucking terrible. But it was the crowd's response to those matches is what makes it.
Yeah, they were better performers than wrestlers.
Yeah. So that's the thing. That's what I go for there. And you can tell that these guys are a whole bunch of indie wrestlers, but you can tell Cody's just going with his dad's sort of theory, NWA sort of style model. Like you can see the way he works his angles and his matches.
Yeah.
It's very traditional, slower pace, tell a story. But they've got that good pop with the young bucks and all the young lads they're bringing in. They're going to do all that sort of new style, work. Do a lot of do too much in my opinion. But they're gonna, I think it's going to be that nice mix of the both.
It is, the young buck style is insane to me at times that so much is happening.
Yeah.
While they look like nothing is going on.
Yes.
Like, how is the Meltzer driver, which is, a Ford flip into a pile driver, looks like nothing?
Yes.
Like, there is a level of uncomfortableness where I'm like, I don't understand how you're so comfortable doing this.
Yeah.
And maybe that's laziness.
Yeah.
Because, like we said last time, you just play the greatest hits.
Yes. You know what people want to see.
Yeah. Everyone wants to see 4 finishes, 1,000 super kicks.
Yeah.
The part I'm interested in, which is weird and because it's a real unknown, is they're in leagues with a Chinese company.
All right.
Who, I'll be honest, it's not going to be your taste.
No.
From just the blurb.
Yeah.
Because being described more to Cirque du Soleil than a wrestling federation is not... I'm not into that either.
No.
I like some real flippy people, like an Ospreay or a Ricochet.
Yeah.
But there was a match, Ospreay versus Volta, who's just signed with NXT UK.
Okay.
He's a big boy.
Yeah.
And...
Does all the flips?
No, he
is...
Walter.
Oh, yeah, no, I know you're talking about.
Giant boy.
Yeah.
And those two, like, that juxtaposition is awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't need every match to have 1,000 flips.
That's the thing. This is where I may fall... That's what I'm intrigued. Because those sorts of matches and the flips and all the false finishes, they're great once a month, like when you're doing your big shows. I'm talking about if they're going to do a weekly show, whether it gets distributed on TV or they're just doing like an online show, which I completely understand because, they've made half their fortune off their YouTube show.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where if they're doing this every week, you can't do that every week because eventually people will turn off. You know what I mean? Like you've got to try to top it, and it's fine when you're topping it at major events. And, they work their indie schedule, but a lot of that is people see them once a month or once, every couple of months, and you can put on those sort of big matches. Then that makes sense. But if you're doing it every week, eventually people will turn off because it's just like, well, I've seen this. And something like I said, like the Meltzer driver, they can be like, well, this is just like a mid-match move, so it becomes you're losing the appeal of everything. So that's where I wonder how they're going to do it. That's the biggest question I have is how they're going to distribute their product. Is it going to be a weekly show to go with monthly events, or what's the deal is?
I think they need to start and do 3 more large shows just to keep that vibe going.
Yep.
So Double or Nothing in May in Vegas.
Yep.
And then do maybe 2 more.
Yep. Big ones in Jacksonville.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, well, they got the owner of the son.
Yeah, just bring
of
the
owner
down the road.
of the Jaguars. Yeah. The Jaguars don't really fill anyone out anyway, so you could do it there.
Yeah, we'll go the old school power and tarp some sections.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And then just
throwing shots at the power early.
I know. And that was a cheeky drive by that one. But that's what Impact does too. Like we're talking about with the arenas. They tarp off sections, which looks awful on television.
Well, by the same token, if you notice that I've heard some reviews from some SmackDown shows recently, and they do the same thing. They just put everyone on the hard cam side.
Yeah.
So all the fans are on one side of the room, which is a little bit awkward.
And a bit disappointing because right now SmackDown is the better of the two.
Yeah.
Which is...
Because that's the thing, you need to get me up to date with everything going on WWE. So I only ever catch my wrestling via GIFs and Twitter.
Oh, I'm all highlight packages as well. Yeah. No, I don't have the 3 hours for Raw and the 3 hours for SmackDown.
No.
Then the hour for NXT. And I don't. I'd rather watch NXT and some highlight clips because
which is fair.
It's better quality.
Yeah.
But Daniel Bryan's anti-Daniel Bryan or new Uber Daniel Bryan hippie character.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
I watched one promo while I was over in Melbourne, and I just felt it was forced. I just felt like it's him. Like everyone wants to love him because he's just such a lovable character and a lovable person. And so then when he comes out there, it's almost like he's talking down to people, just going, "No, you hate me, remember? And I hate you, and you hate me, remember?" And that's what it sounds like. But I feel like the second he turns around, if he turned around tomorrow and went, "Nah, only kidding, I love you guys," everyone would be like, "Yeah, we love him again." So I don't think he's getting that real heat.
No, I don't think he ever will.
No.
But I mean, he did a promo out at the concession stand, bagging out every single person standing around.
Oh, that's good.
You know what I mean? Like, what are you using straws for? Why are you putting this crap in your body? Why? And like smacking hot dogs out of people's hands.
I feel like this is like a really cheap, weak version of the CM Punk character. Like when CM Punk came out and went, "I'm straight edge because I'm better than you." It's I feel like it's like that, but now it's like, "Oh, we're going to attack vegans." It's like, oh, it's not quite as intense. Because people that drink...
It's almost more intense.
Yeah?
I think because it has to be. Whereas CM Punk could lean back. Because to say I'm better than you, you don't have to shout it.
Yeah.
You can still be a cocky asshole and
just lean back. Exactly. Which I felt like he did.
Which he does perfectly. Look at those rumbles where he's just sitting up in a corner waiting for people.
Yeah.
Whereas Bryant has to, like you said, he has to be on the front foot to say that you are trash. The big advantage to his reign at the moment is that he is putting over talent that's coming up. Mustafa Ali... Hideo Itami, he's referencing old matches and how good they are, or how the effect is.
Yeah.
And to do that as a heel in promos, it's the Paul Heyman trick.
And it's also that stage where you feel technically as a character, you're pretty well untouchable. You can just do whatever.
Yeah.
Like I said, to a much lower degree, within local wrestling, for a while there, it was my job for about a year just to... Oh, can you make this guy look good? Oh, can you make this guy...
You would Jake the Snake.
Yeah, pretty much. I was just like I could lose every match for a year, but in Adelaide, I'm still Rocky Menero. It's still as small as it sounds and as wanky as it sounds, it still carries some weight.
Yeah.
So it's like I could just keep losing. It doesn't matter. I keep telling everyone's better than me. It doesn't matter. I can't lose who I am. They'll just keep going to the shows and go, "Nah, it's bullshit that you lost." And I was like, "But I don't care." I mean, I'm happy to keep giving everyone the good push, but yeah, it's one of those sorts of things. So I think he's at that level now where he could literally lose every night, and you still wouldn't care because you're still it's Daniel Bryan, and when he wants to, he's the best.
100%.
And everyone knows that, and you need more people like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we've spoken before on any event that happens, I'll just wait for a text from you.
Oh yeah,
just be like, thoughts.
Yes.
What do you think?
I need to know.
What are you calling?
I need to know because you're the pulse of the young people.
That is generous.
Yeah, well, you're younger than me, so that's
I don't even know if that's true.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, yeah. It was not by much. It's not enough.
Well, we're both younger than Steve. That's all we need to know.
Steve looks great for it, though.
Yeah, for 54,
See, I feel
he's
like I'm
looking
just
really
defending
good.
Steve.
No, you have to.
I have to.
Yeah, it's the bald head and the beard. You guys have to look after each other.
Yeah, we live in the same side of town.
That's right. It's the wrong side.
Yeah. Now I've got to get rid of my electric mower too.
That's right.
But we were talking about the Royal Rumble coming up and then possible consequences leading into Mania and headlining.
Yeah.
I agree with your thoughts about the headlines for WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the girls. I honestly think they're going to put Ronda and Becky in the main event. Not only because it's that whole movement of trying to make the girls seem, whatever. It's just that they just seem to be genuinely the better characters right now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see any other wrestlers that really have that much juice. I mean, you've got Brock Lesnar. And I know we sort of differ on Brock Lesnar being the main event of shows, but he has to be the main event. He's Andre the Giant. He has so much mystique about him.
I don't disagree with him being a main event. I need the belt around more.
Yes. No, see, I love the idea that the belt's not around more because that makes that belt seem so much more important because you don't see it.
But it would be okay if it was around monthly. But right now it's not around monthly.
No, it's even better because they've got another belt. They've got
people
two belts.
forget about people week to week.
Yeah, no, but you don't forget that Brock has the belt. You know what I mean? Like, you still are, everyone's still annoyed when he doesn't show up and he's got the belt and he's not there.
Yeah.
But everyone knows he's the champ. I couldn't tell you who the other champ is.
I'd almost like him coming and going this much as a heel, as a full heel, almost like a shark in Jaws. Yeah. Like, you don't know when he's going to turn up.
That's what he is. Like, he is that.
No, but he just comes and stands there now. And
But that's the whole point. He is Andre the Giant. He's becoming a myth. You know what I mean? Like, it's like he's that mountain. He's the sword and the stone. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, once someone can pull it out, then they're Lancelot. You know what I mean? That's why I love that he's not there, because if he had to constantly defend it all the time and this and that.
I don't know. I'm not going that far either. As I think I said to counter one of Andy's great wrestling points, was I wouldn't even mind if he made appearances twice a month.
Yeah.
Like early, like even following up a main, pay-per-view, and then the week before a pay-per-view. Yeah. That's fine. Then you're only off TV for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But if you don't appear for 3 to 4, and then Heyman's there once, and then he shows up and stands there.
Yeah.
That's when it loses me.
I
think there's a middle ground that we can come to.
I think there is, but I've always loved the idea of him being the king in the castle, and it's everyone else fighting around it, and then it's the chosen one gets to walk up the hill and fight the king, and you fail, you go back down again, and then the king sits in his fucking castle, and he doesn't have to come down and deal with it. You know what I mean? Like, you have to earn the right to go up to him.
Yeah,
he doesnn't need to come to you.
That's
right.
You know
what I mean? Like, that's what I really love about what they do with him, and everyone complains about. It's like, okay, but there is another belt, and like I said, I don't even know who is the champ. The champ is it? Oh, it's Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan.
Yeah. I didn't know. Like, I know that one.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were meaning the other belt on Raw.
No,
because they almost use the Intercontinental as the main belt because he's not around.
But that's what I like. I like that. Like, build around that, because that makes that second belt seem even more prestigious, because that's the one you're seeing defended all the time.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the big belt's the big belt, and that's the fucking one you're after. Yeah. If you're now all having to fight for second place, but there's a few guys that are above second place that are now working towards that, walk up the hill, that's what really gets it for me. And that's why, like, they've got at the Rumble, they've got him and Balor.
Yep.
And if Balor can win that, which I feel they might give it to him, which, just to...
I don't think they'll pull the trigger
yet
at Rumble.
But it depends on how well he goes. And then that's one of those things where it's like, all right, cool, now this is the guy that, this could be the kid that pulls the sword out of stone.
It'd be exciting, though, if he got beaten down, then showed up for the Rumble, and won the Rumble to go again, and then win it at... That would be exciting.
Because I always thought the best way they could have gotten Roman Reigns over was when that first year when he fought him at Mania, and when they did the run-in with Seth.
Yep.
If he had lost clean, just lost 100% clean, and then you didn't see Brock for an entire year, but the whole year was that redemption story of Roman Reigns pulling himself up from his loss, his horrible loss, his embarrassing loss, and pulling himself up for the whole year. By the time he faced him again the next year, probably got a very different reaction. You know what I mean? Because everyone would have, rather than seeing him get pushed into that role,
next week,
everyone would have seen him work his way back up to that role. So by the time he got there a year later, it would have seemed really, really important.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And it did feel like, because you lose and then you're instantly shoved back at the number one.
Yeah.
And then you lose again and you're number one again. And
yeah.
You're like, why?
It didn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But we do miss Joe.
Oh, poor Joe.
Yeah, I was thinking about him the other day. I do miss Joe.
Entry number 29 in the Royal Rumble.
Oof. I think
that's
you know what?
literally someone put that out there, and I was confused.
I'm not. I would not be surprised.
I know.
And that's what is a little bit off-putting. Because a man's recovering from, is it leukemia?
Yeah.
But they've kept him off TV for so long, and no one's even mentioned him.
No.
It went from everyone.
Oh no,
Thoughts
Dean
and
Ambrose
prayers,
made a weird because he's a heel.
Yeah.
But he was making it like Seth's the reason he got. Like, it was a real weird.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
But that's the
really
thing.
weird
But
heel
you haven't heard much. You know,
No.
it's almost like they've been
No
told.
updates?
No one mention it.
No.
Don't mention the
No.
war. And that's
Yeah.
the end. Like it's very bizarre. So I wouldn't be surprised if he came out then and they got him to win the Rumble and then got into Mania. It's almost like admittedly the WWE's used some pretty low tactics in the past. If they use fucking leukemia
but why
to
not?
get somebody over,
Why not?
yeah,
Because we're all pulling for him.
Yeah,
Like everyone who was against him was like, "All right, man.
he's got leukemia.
Best of
though.
luck."
Yeah.
Like,
I even loved the crowd during his promo because when he came
boo,
out before he even announced it, before he announced his leukemia and had to go away, they were booing him, and then they found out that he had leukemia, and everyone's like, "Oh,
yeah." As soon as he said, "My name's Joe," everyone went, "No one really cares."
Yeah.
Like, oh.
And I have leukemia. Oh shit! Right,
I was gonna make fun of your jewelry, but don't worry about it.
Sorry, mate.
God.
But everyone knows that's coming up. Like WrestleMania's coming up, and I think the girl's going to get the number one spot there.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's the Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda.
Yes, I think
You
they
know,
will. Because
like-
from what I'm hearing, is apparently Charlotte won't. So Becky. So all wrong. I'm like a parent with too many kids. Ronda won't be back after Mania because she's off filming Mortal Kombat. So I have a feeling she's going to drop the belt there. So I think this is when they will make Becky the.
Well, that's
she'll get-
terrifying because she's awful in the video game. I
Who?
saw a clip of her as Sonya Blade.
Yeah.
Just as a voiceover actor, she was bad.
Oh right.
She was like, "Look out,
Oh,
I am here." I was like, "Come on, man."
She was really good in Entourage, but essentially she played herself.
Yeah.
Which is also like everyone was like, "Oh, Eminem was a really good rapper in 8 Mile." I'm like, he's playing himself. It's not much of a fucking stretch, you know.
Like that's the thing you compliment him on, not his acting around all of that.
No.
God.
No, he's terrible.
Oh,
So,
that's awful.
and zippity doo dah, whippity bop. I'm fucking off Eminem. But yeah,
We
moving
know.
on to the more
We
important
know.
wrestling.
Yep.
By the time this comes out, it's going to come out Tuesday. I think I'm going to start doing Tuesdays from now on. I think Tuesday's a good day to release the show.
Tuesday's good.
Get too many complaints. If I miss Tuesday and then Wednesday, then by Thursday I'm getting hate mail from 2 to 3 listeners. But we've got February 1.
Yep.
HQ Complex on Hindley Street in Adelaide. You've got Rocky
Hang
Menero.
on.
Hey, we got Rocky Menero.
Steve's not even here to go. This is a segue.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, you can take that over.
Oh.
You actually did it better than him. Really?
No,
You
I
should
don't know if that's true.
Oh. You have
I
a soft
would-
spot for Steve, don't you?
No, I have a soft spot for that segue because
Yeah.
I think it's great.
I told you, it's that bad that it's
told
getting
you,
over.
Yeah, and I told you that I tried to just isolate him, Steve. I tried to isolate you saying segue,
Yeah.
and then put like a car noise behind it and explosions and
Yeah.
turn it into a thing.
Yeah.
It was the worst morning radio shit I'd ever made in my life, and I instantly scrapped it. I was
Oh.
like, I'm a disgrace. I apologize to my friends, family, and the club
Yeah.
just for doing this.
You
I
went
was
to your
like, I'm
daughter
out.
and just kissed her and you're like, your dad's a failure. I'm sorry.
I was like, I mean, his beard is glorious, but the rest of me is a real disappointment. Sorry, baby.
But we're throwing us as a segue in.
Yeah.
Because we are talking about Rocky Menero here. Now, I've heard this guy is amazingly talented and handsome.
Well, it's not.
You could back me up there.
His
You could
last
back me
match
up.
was a stinker, but that's just
His last
what I
match
heard.
was a stinker, but we don't need to go into that. But yeah, me and the loose ledge, Adam Brooks, HQ Complex, Friday night. Bring your friends, bring your family. Come on down, check it out. Are you coming?
I am.
You are.
Well,
Jeez, I was hoping that.
yeah. You're like, please.
I was hoping for the best there.
And a couple of our mutual friends, I believe, will be joining me.
There you go.
And having been to the new HQ for both gigs,
Yes.
I've seen a couple of bands there.
Yeah.
And wrestling previously,
Yes.
I think it's a really good venue.
It's a great venue.
And I'm actually interested to see how a normal
Wrestling show.
will run there.
Because, I mean, I wasn't here for the last one they ran there because I was in Bali that time. And just from the photos alone, it looked great.
Yeah, and I don't go to wrestling events if you're not there.
No, of course not.
Yeah,
Because
because you need to like commentate through a Rocky match for me. Because I
Yeah.
don't understand the psychology that he's doing. Like he's on a level that I just don't comprehend.
He's so good.
Yeah, I mean, like apart from like no selling and then like
Excuse me, I am the
using
only
a
one that...
solid 4 moves that he pulled from 1999. And then, but you explain it to me, and then I understand.
Yeah, I don't need to do many moves.
Hang on, who?
Oh, your favorite. Yeah, Rocky Menero doesn't need to do many moves.
Fuck your fourth wall.
Was like Banana Man here, but no, I love the setup because it's because it's a proper functioning sort of nightclub and stuff, but it's got their sound and lighting. But also, it's like a studio.
It is one of the weirdest built venues.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's like someone distorted an image of the old HQ.
Yeah,
like the levels are different heights to each other.
Yeah, they're very weird.
Strange.
It's very weird. And the blue stairs, they're everywhere. The lead everywhere. Kind of a bit weird.
The best part is because it's built like an amphitheater.
Yeah.
The fact that you can get around the back of everything is the smartest thing they ever did.
Yeah, it's pretty handy. It's built for, I think it's almost built for gigs more so than just being a nightclub.
Yeah.
So it does function really well. And you were at the Mexican show that was run there. Where another fantastic performer by the name of Chico was at. Was also played by me. But I just love the stage setup, the big screen. Like I said, they've got the sound and lighting there. Plus the fact that it just makes any photos taken there look 10 times more professional than any other show we can work on.
Can I tell you my favourite part? Because the DJ stand is completely set up at all times.
Yes.
The casket match that happened.
Yeah.
They couldn't lean the lid of the casket.
Yeah, we did it. Yeah, because they let the lid against it, and then one of the guys came down against.
Mate, that's a fully LED display you're doing.
Yeah, you're gonna get it all on the screen. So I'm like, you watch the casket match. I'm holding it the whole time.
You and is it the ref, the salsa dancer.
The salsa dancer.
There's each of you holding an end, we're trying to make it look natural, cheering with one hand.
Yeah, the other hand just quietly holding this thing so it's not touching the screen.
But do you want to describe your role as Chico on the night? Because I thought that was a fascinating gig.
I loved it. It was so much fun because I was like essentially the host, like the host's assistant.
You were colour commentary.
I was the butler.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. Like I was the Mexican butler.
You just got to pop in.
Yeah, and so I had a bottle of tequila, and anytime the crowd started chanting Chico, I would dance around the ring and then pour the tequila in people's mouths from the ring. Now the funniest thing was, everyone would act like, pour it in my mouth. And you pour it in there, they go, that's real tequila. It's like, yeah, no shit. Like, this is an over 18 show.
From the colour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But everyone just thought we'd maybe gimmicked it somehow.
That's right.
And the best bit was, the guy who runs the show is a Mexican dude. He has a bottle of Don Julio at the desk. No, we had the good one at the desk. Yeah. So me and him were having those ones. And then I'm pouring out this shitty Cuervo for everybody else. And there's just like real pissed dudes in the front row, like, pour it in my mouth. I'm like, dude, no, fuck off.
Can I tell you, my favourite moment is I found you at intermission.
Yep.
And you were like, get you and your friends down here. And I was like, two of them have back injuries.
Yeah.
And the third one is a firefighter who's been fighting bushfires all day. And you're like, well, you guys just stay there and get
comfy. Just sit out.
You instantly, I saw both sides of speed come out. No, fuckheads, you get down here right now. And then it was, no, you're good, man.
That's fair. You've got a good excuse. If it was just I'm tired.
You were super caring all of a sudden.
I
understand. Right up there?
I appreciate the background. And the people that work doing bushfires, that's funny, especially on a day like today.
Oh, no.
It's you got to put your thoughts out for them.
Oh, 100%. And he'll be out there.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, it's as we're recording this, it's currently a balmy 45 degrees in Adelaide. We're currently looking forward to our cool change tomorrow of 30. So that should be good.
Yeah, and 35, which people are hanging there for, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great time. But the thing is, I was like last night. I even had the thing of being at home, and I was just about to complain to Satan, who surprisingly likes the heat. Complain to her.
Go figure.
She's right at home,
living the gimmick. I love it.
So I was in the kitchen. I was cooking, so I've got the stove on as well, which is just it's just making it 10 times worse. And I was just
had the oven on and open for no reason.
We're doing garlic bread. Why? I don't know. But I was just about to go, fuck, it's hot, and complain, and then I just pulled it back in and went, no. Remember, you hate the cold 10 times more. So I'm like, I don't complain about the hot because I hate the cold.
I'm a winter dude.
Yeah.
I am like.
Is this because you're a husky gentleman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Even at my skinniest though, I do enjoy the cold a lot more.
Yeah.
So then people on 45-degree days going like, oh, isn't summer great?
Yeah.
Here's a giant bag of dicks.
Yeah, no.
I need you to eat every single one.
I love my summer, but when it gets to 45 and stuff, I'm just like,
even summer lovers have to be like, we are.
Even I was on the hunt before, just saw you out the street before you came into the lovely House of Pain.
Yes.
We have a, I don't want to say mascot, but it's sort of it's like a friend of the gym. He's this homeless guy that sleeps on the side. Yeah. He's moved on recently. He's not next to the gym, so it's kind of like because he's like the nicest guy in the world. He's just down on his luck and he just sleeps on the side of the gym. But he's moved on recently, but we're still concerned about it because he's one of those guys. He doesn't beg. He doesn't try to hustle people. He doesn't bother anyone. He's just trying to exist.
Yeah.
And so I saw him down the road. So I'm just like quickly ran up to him like, do you need some water? Do you need anything? But I've been searching for him because I heard he moved around the corner. So, but I happened to bump into him. I had a quick chat with him and stuff like that. And I'm just like, do you need some water? He's like, no, I've got some. He's heading to one of the shelters and stuff, which is good. But I was out there for like 3 minutes out in the sun, and I'm just like, nah, fuck this. Like, I'm a sun bunny, and I love the sun, and I love summer, but fuck me, today can go.
And it's bouncing between the buildings.
Oh,
like,
for
it's
sure.
just coming straight down.
Yeah,
and it's awful.
And my bald head is not a. There's too thin.
I'm glad I incorporated this haircut 6 months ago.
Oh yeah.
Oh god.
But yeah, back to HQ. We're gonna segue back around. But yeah,
no, I need you to do the Steve segue.
This is a segue.
That was worse.
I know, it's so bad. When I try to impersonate Steve, I'm actually worse than Steve. Steve's actually good, but don't tell him that I said he was good, because he probably he's not even listening to this far in.
I'm isolating this clip. As soon as
we started talking about modern wrestling, saying it was good, Steve switched off. I guarantee he hasn't even got this far into the show. But yeah, so the show's going to be really good. I'm glad you're going to come. Yeah. Anyone's going to come, Nick Hamble. You guys are going to have a great time. But I can tell you just quickly, we're going to wrap up the show on a art show I was involved with last week. So last week I've been invited to do some art installation.
Oh, go on.
You know me, because I'm all about my art, and
you're a sculptor from way back.
Oh, I'm fancy.
I mean, I've always said your hand is always on it, so it makes perfect sense.
But yeah, so me and I got a phone call late last year from one of the parents of the kids I used to coach in basketball.
Yep. And
she goes, a friend of mine owns an art gallery. Are you still wrestling? I'm like, yeah. And she goes, well, he needs some wrestlers for some show that he's doing. Can I give him your number? I'm like, yeah, no worries. And he gave me a call and tried to basically outline it to me, and it sounded a bit weird, sounded like a bit creepy, it sounded a bit, let's just say, gay for pay, which, I'm not opposed to.
Well, at least you're getting paid for it.
Exactly. Yeah. I've been doing it for free for so fucking long. So I was like, oh yeah, no worries. Like, he goes, how are you in January? I said, yeah, 19th sounds good. Yep, no worries. Completely forgot about it. And then
because it does seem like, man, this might never happen.
Yeah, exactly. You get you sort of you get offers for shit all the time.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't, but I understand what you're saying.
But so then I got this phone call at the start of the year, like maybe the 4th of January. Hey, are you still available on the 19th? I'm like, oh shit, yeah. Yeah, let me organise that. So
let me check with my secretary.
Yeah, so I grabbed one of the other wrestlers because he's a cop, so I had to make sure he wasn't working and stuff like that. So, because it had to be 2 guys, similar build, you're going to be wearing white leotard, like white trunks, and a mask, and this and that, and I'm just, as first things going, I'm like, wow.
Have you seen Eyes Wide Shut?
Yeah. I think I know what shut the eyes, but it's just sounding really, really questionable.
It is sus.
Yeah, and I went to I met the artist and the owner of the gallery, and they explained it to me, and it was called the Battle of Equality or something, but it's his political statements. 3 different battles, one from Japan, one from... Like, it was so funny. He goes, we filmed one in Tokyo, one in Berlin, and then one Adelaide. I'm like, one of these things doesn't belong here.
I think that anytime there's a giant arts festival where they're like, this has been in Berlin, New York, London, Elizabeth. What? Yeah, I know. Why? Because the arts centre opens? Like, all right, I get it.
So it's just not quite... like, we love our city, but it's not... doesn't have the prestige.
Yeah, we'll die on that hill defending it, but we're the first ones to undercut it.
Exactly. So I'm like, okay, so it's already sounding questionable. So I'm thinking, okay, I need to see the proof of this Tokyo in Berlin before I buy it. And I saw the Tokyo one. It was 2 guys, white outfits, like white overalls, hair clippers, this mask on their face, and they had to go after each other. He goes, it's about Japanese tradition with the long hair and stuff like that. When you shave down that hair and you get rid of tradition, what happens with their culture and stuff like that. Right. So I'm like, right, interesting. And the German one is 2 big tattooed freak-looking people on a mattress in the same triangle.
Why didn't I get that call?
Yeah, I know. It'll be great. One of them, I saw the photo of the model they're getting. Transgender.
All right, I'm out. My beard is too.
Oh, like, I'm talking tattooed, like covered, and bald head, real muscly, big. I'm talking the biggest set of fake boobs you've ever seen in your life.
You don't know what I've seen, don't judge me.
I've been in the real dark classes. That's right. You know when you're looking at Pornhub and at the bottom of the screen it says, do you want to go forward to 563 or go back to 561? I'm there.
Yeah, you're looking for the lowest rating you can find just to be special.
Something really
I didn't sleep for 9 days in Vegas. Right? I saw some shit, do you understand?
But it's like these 2 freaks like screaming at each other on a mattress. So it's like, it seems really intriguing because like all obviously the infighting and stuff, and
it's also that old from a distance if you shout at an idiot who you can't tell
the difference. Yeah. So ours is they wanted two guys to wrestle each other with clay on their outfits, and then when we finish, we both end up covered in clay.
I don't care if you had evidence. This still is like it's ticking some fetish boxes for
Oh
someone.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah. I was like I said, I'm going to try to sell my shoes after this. You know, what I mean? Like if I can get into this market, because that's a lucrative
There is
market.
this weird vending machine here at Snap where it's just a lot of your socks.
There's pre-worn.
Pre-worn,
There's
yeah.
There's like because that's the market you want to get into.
Oh,
some of the
100%.
boys, I know some of the wrestling boys have sold trunks before,
Yeah.
and that's the market you want to get into. That's where the dollars.
Have you had offers?
No, and I feel offended that I haven't had offers.
Alright.
Yeah, I know.
Jesus.
You know me. It's all about me.
That is always nice. Like offended that you weren't asked, but offended if you were asked. Like
No, I
wins.
wouldn't be offended if I was asked. Yeah, just if I wasn't. I was just mad. I just want to be at the party. I'm just happy to be there. Yeah. So we got involved with this, and like it went off really, really well. Like we started. The thing was it was on cement, so concrete floor. We got this little triangle mapped out in the cement. Like the rest of it's sort of this.
What kind of dimensions we talking? Was it
chipboard.
like 6 by 6 feet kind of thing, or a couple of meters?
A couple of real, not too big. Maybe it would fit. It fit the two of us in there, and we could move maybe 2 steps one way, 2 steps the other. Not a lot of room, but enough to sort of move. And then we got like fluoro light tubes, like around the side,
And is
bordering.
that the primary lighting of it?
Yeah, that's
okay,
pretty much the only lighting. So other than like there's a bit of
ambient stuff.
yeah, and that's about it. We filmed it at night time, so there wasn't too much daylight
Yep.
coming in. So, and the only thing that recording sound is just whatever noises we're
It's
making.
literally clay squelching and bodies here.
Yeah, and like us slapping each other and just like grunting and this and that, because we had a mouthpiece in the mask to hold it into place. So you're breathing through clenched teeth.
Oh, and there's no communication in wrestling.
No. So we can't talk to each other at all, and it's 15 minutes, and we've got to go one take because of the continuity with the clay.
100%. Yeah.
And so we planned out this little spots, this and that. I'll stand here, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll walk around here, we'll do this, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, 30 seconds in, we lock up, there's clay over the floor, and we both almost slip up, and we're like, right, all that stuff we'd planned standing is now out the fucking window. We are now trying to survive and make this look good for 15 fucking minutes. Well, 14 minutes and 30 seconds at this time.
Yeah.
So everything we planned has gone out the window.
Did you know there was going to be clay on the ground?
Well, you assume, but then you don't. We didn't
Yeah, I mean,
take
you
it
assume
into
some's gonna fall off,
off you. But
yeah,
we
yeah.
didn't think. Like I just completely forgot the fact that it's going to be super duper slippery.
Yeah.
Like I thought, okay, it might be slippery initially, but then it will start to dry and we'll be fine. But it just took
Or vice
way,
versa.
it took
Yeah,
way
yeah.
too long to dry. So by the end of the thing, we did do one spot where he picked me up on his shoulders and like a fireman's carry sort of thing, and like. My girlfriend was there, and so was the director from the Art Gallery of South Australia, and they just like heart was in their mouth. They're like they're both going to slip and fall and this and that. And the funny thing was because I originally said, "I'll pick you up and we'll do this," blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So when they we finished and that sort of thing, we wrapped it up, and they were really happy with the performance. Like I said, it'll eventually come out, and it will be at the Art Gallery, so we will have links to it and
Alright,
stuff like
cool,
that.
whatever.
Yeah,
Sure,
I'm
man.
just like I
Alright,
do want people to see it. So not just like it's not just going to turn up on like XTube. You know?
I
Like-
will be honest, you showed me one picture as
Yeah.
a kind of behind the scenes. And thank God you've explained it now, because it made no sense when I first saw it.
Exactly. Like I said, I didn't really know about it until I saw it.
But
myself.
even that candid photo,
Yeah.
it's going to look great.
Well, we'll put up a photo of it on the Facebook. But yeah, it was one of those things that when they got back, they went, "Oh, when you picked him up and this and that." No, that was him picking me up. There's like even like Satan couldn't tell the difference between me and the other guy who wrestled
I
with.
could pick in that one photo. I could pick
Yeah.
which one was you,
Yeah, but once we
but
started,
only side by side.
exactly,
Like,
yeah. But once we
you
were
start
already
swapping
wrestling and moving and
yeah.
spinning around and stuff like that, so it was a lot of fun. It was one of those things. Was like really tested you as a like. We always say, you always hear people say, "Oh, wrestling's an art form," and this and that, but it's like it's one of those things where you really learn. Like it is sort of like a dance, and if you've got a good dance partner, like I did have,
Yeah.
we could go 15 minutes without even being able to talk to each other,
The ability
and we
to
both knew
improvise.
what he was going to
Yep.
do, and this and that. We kind of worked together, and this and that. It was just. It felt really good. It was one of those things that really nailed down why I love being a performer. So
Yeah.
It was just So it's good. As much as it sounds like I'm bragging about, I'm gonna be. It was.
No,
it
it
was
100%
fun.
does, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I have heard this podcast before, and people are well aware of how you operate.
Yeah.
Steve might be dead. No one's really sure. Like, you know. But the fact that you were able to get something artistically from it as well.
Yep.
I mean, apart from a paycheck's a paycheck.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Like, you know, are you going to will they be giving you a copy of the photo? Have you asked for anything
No,
like
it's
that?
going to be a film. It's actually like a short film. So it's going to be like, it's the 3 battles. The first one went about 17 minutes and then ours went 15 and the next one's going to be like 10.
I meant more from like, I'm sure he's documenting.
They're going to do a lot of stills and stuff. So I'm getting emailed some of the actually good quality, like, because it was good too, because the place where it's filming, it's got a balcony. And so a couple of times the owner of the studio was upstairs and doing like top-down photos as well. And there's one where
hang on, you're using your thumb. Were they just on a phone?
Yeah, it was just for those ones. But like, because we had a professional photographer there as well, and he was doing all different angles. They're
the ones I'd be keen to see, because that would look incredible.
Yeah, and so he had, because we had like the Steadicam, and then we had another one like roaming. But even the one from up top, just on the phone, he did one, and like, because me and Chris saw it, we're just like, we kind of looked like a really good like horror movie, because it was like both of us in these white tights with white clay covering all of us, both heads and everything covered in clay as well. We bought it's this weird marshmallow looking mask thing that we're wearing, and he goes, both stand where you are. And he goes, now look up. We both looked up, and it looks like the cover to like a horror movie. We're like, can we borrow these costumes? Like, we may have another idea to go with these guys.
That would be good. Like, varying on that. Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
And you're not above having a photo of yourself in your own house.
Oh, you know.
I mean, you'd have to move all the other ones to find space on the wall.
No, in fairness, I don't consider myself very photogenic. No, and this may sound weird, but I legitimately don't find myself that photogenic. I'm usually, like, this is going to be our last thing for the day, and I'll wrap up with this one. I'm a professional groomsman. I've been a groomsman 6 times. Like, actually, 7 times now. I know...
5 to 5?
Yeah, I know the... You know, you do the getting ready photos?
Oh, I know.
Oh, I'm the fucking king of the getting ready photos. Because you know the walking down the street photo, they jump in front of you? I can do the turn to my mate, pretend I'm having a conversation with a half smile on my face, like a Roger David calendar.
Yeah.
You know, and or doing the... I always... And if you look at all the... If I can go back and show you, I've got one from Andy's wedding, from a mate Ben's wedding, from a mate Joe's wedding, and Bo's wedding. There is the one photo... I always make sure when I see the photographer and they're taking photos of getting ready, I'm the one fixing the groom's tie. Fucking every time. If I'm not looking directly
God, you're a focus point. Jesus Christ.
I can't look direct. If you see me looking directly into the camera and whatever, I always look a bit weird. But if I'm not looking at the camera and I know when the camera's not looking at me, well, the camera's looking at me but I'm not looking at it, that's when I actually photo quite well.
No, I'm the opposite. I hate side angles.
Yeah.
As you generously used Husky.
Yeah.
Side angles, I was like, what are you, 400 pounds? And then front side, I'm like, oh, solid 250, that's fine.
It's solid. Yeah,
you know? But I have the same thing. I'm actually in the groomsmen photos, I'm the master of, wasn't there 4 groomsmen before?
Yeah.
And then there's like half a jacket in a background.
Yeah.
And I'm just like leaning in with a beer. A lot of hands.
Yeah.
Like a lot of hand model work.
Just trying to,
And just disappearing.
You don't like the Face and Body Boys.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not on that big money. Oh, the 10-year challenge. I was like, no photos exist of me.
All right.
So go to hell.
All right.
Like, yeah.
So I love doing that sort of stuff because I'm not I wouldn't have a photo of myself. This one I might actually because I'm wearing a mask. Like I don't mind.
Yeah, and it's you and a mate. You went through an experience.
Yeah, the body thing I don't mind, but some of my face I just don't know why.
We are sitting super close, and I understand.
Yeah, it's not a real HD face. I need a good filter. I was much better in the analog.
I grew a beard to cover it. What are you talking about? Like I understand.
Well, that's going to be us for this week, guys. Tune in for the special outro. We got a new special outro from our executive producer. It's going to wrap up the show. But for this week, Speak Arrowwater is saying goodbye. For Big J,
enjoy.
We'll see you next week. Peace.
Support the boys, subscribe to the podcast, and leave a 5-star review. And if you want to be involved, head over to facebook.com/DBB podcast, where you and the other 2 to 3 listeners can leave feedback and constructive criticism.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to AuscastNetwork.com for details.